Welcome back, everyone, to Inherited Dawn, a One Piece podcast. We are breaking down the absolute madness of chapter 1141.
The chapter is titled The Prince of Lies, a very direct and, as we'll soon find out, a very accurate title.
Accurate is one word for it. After all that desperation, all of Luffy's pure-hearted instinct to save a beaten-down soul, the chains come off.
And the victim stands up, grabs his weapon, and smiles. The performance is over.
It's one of the most chilling final moments we've had in a long time. Everything just flipped on its head. The chapter basically tells a complete story in and of itself, and if you want to be here for the next chapter of that story with us, you know what to do. Help us build our own giant crew by following the show.
Let's start at the top, the immediate aftermath of the castle infiltration.
We open with Nami, and it's perfect. The castle is in ruins, guards are unconscious, a prince is a co-conspirator, and Nami is mad that she couldn't find any treasure.
Her priorities remain unshakable. It's almost comforting. In a world of chaos, political upheaval, and looming war, the pursuit of wealth is her constant, her anchor.
Right? It's like the world could be ending, but if there's a chance for a single berry in the rubble, Nami's got her compass pointed right at it. You gotta respect the hustle. It's a nice little moment of classic Straw Hat comedy before things get heavy.
I think it's more than just comedy. It's a reminder of her past. For Nami, treasure isn't just about luxury. It's about freedom, is the security she never had. She spent her childhood trying to buy her village back from a tyrant. That instinct to accumulate the power that money represents is now ingrained in her very soul. Wow, deep.
But you're right, it's her way of protecting the crew, of guaranteeing their future. Still funny as hell to watch her fume about an empty vault while a literal prince is having a panic attack next to her.
Speaking of the prince, Road is trying to play it cool with the conscious guards, telling them nothing happened here, just a little structural issue. Please don't ask any questions.
Just some minor renovations. We're going for a more open concept look. He is sweating buckets. You can practically see the steam coming off his head.
He's in full-on damage control mode. He idolizes Luffy, but he is clearly terrified of the consequences of what they've done. He's trying to put the lid back on the box. He experienced the thrill of rebellion for a moment, and now the reality of his position is crashing down on him.
He wants to be a revolutionary like Luffy, but he doesn't have the conviction yet. He's just a kid who helped his hero and is now staring down the barrel of getting grounded for eternity by a nation of giants.
All revolutions begin with a single act of defiance. He may not have the strength to see it through yet, but the will is there. Luffy has planted a seed in him, and it'll be interesting to see if it's allowed to grow.
It feels less like a seed and more like a ticking bomb. We've faced enemies with both of those abilities before. Big Mom had Zeus and Prometheus, and now was literally made of lightning. This is a known vulnerability now, not just to us, but to anyone who knows the history of Elbaph. It's Chekhov's giant, flammable, lightning-attracting tree. It will be relevant before this arc is over.
Meanwhile, back at the party, Usopp has achieved his ultimate form. He is completely wasted and having the time of his life.
He's not just drunk, he's ascended. We've seen him talk about Elbaph since we first met Dory and Brogy in Little Garden. This isn't just a party for him, it's the culmination of a lifelong dream. His behavior, while absurd, is a pure expression of cathartic joy. Nami finds him, and he's in the middle of a conversation with Jarul, the giant elder with a sword stuck in his head. And what does our brave warrior of the sea want to know? The deep philosophical questions of the universe?
No. Usopp, in his infinite drunken wisdom, asks Jarul what his type of woman is. Jarul, playing along, says he likes older women.
The logic of which, to a drunk Usopp, is impossible. A spectacular paradox. Jarul is the oldest giant in the world. Who could possibly be older than him? It's a lie. A filthy lie.
So, naturally, Usopp just smacks the sword lodged in Jarul's skull, yelling at him for lying. The comedic timing is perfect. It's so stupid and so perfectly Usopp. He sees a contradiction and has to physically attack it.
I was crying laughing. The giant just sits there completely unbothered while this little guy is trying to dislodge a skyscraper-sized sword from his head because of a disagreement about dating preferences.
Dory and Brogy have to step in and stop him, explaining that if he actually pulled it out, Jarul would die from the blood loss. It's a fun detail that connects back to their own 100-year duel. Wounds for giants are on a different scale. What looks like a historical oddity is a life-threatening injury.
It also reminds us of Oimo and Kashi at Enyezi Lobby, who served the world government for decades based on a lie about their captains. The giants of Elbaph are defined by their history, their wounds, and their loyalties.
I love that moment from Nami, though. She just watches him and says he's been wanting to come to Elbaph for so long, and he finally made it. It's not just him being an idiot, it's a pure celebration of a dream come true.
It's a very fond observation. She's not annoyed or embarrassed. She's happy for him. She understands him, and it's a quiet moment that reinforces their bond as some of the earliest members of the crew. She sees the child in him fulfilling his promise to Kaya to become a brave warrior of the sea.
But the party vibe starts to shift right after that. Just as we're feeling all warm and fuzzy, the air gets cold. Sanji, who always has his eyes open, notices that Gerd is gone.
He has an incredible ability to sense when the emotional temperature of a room changes. He's not just looking for beautiful women, he's a phenomenal intelligence agent for the crew.
She's not at the feast. She's where the injured guards are, and she's interrogating Prince Road. And the warm, friendly doctor from the party is gone. This is someone else entirely.
She's not just a doctor, she is clearly a figure of immense authority. The way she carries herself, the way she speaks to the prince, it's a cross-examination, not a scolding.
Road is trying so hard to lie his way out of it. Oh, me? I was just at the castle to get some inspiration for my block set. It's such a terrible lie. You gotta do better than that, kid.
It's the lie of a child who has never had to deceive someone so perceptive, and Gerd sees right through it. She must be the doctor for all of Elbaph. She's seen everything. A kid's nervous excuses aren't going to fool her. She dismantles his story piece by piece.
She immediately starts applying pressure, suggests they wake up the guards, suggests they go consult Jarul. She's boxing him in, cutting off all his escape routes. It's methodical.
You can see the internal conflict in Road. He's terrified of Gerd finding out the truth, but he also says he wishes Loki would just leave Elbaph and never return. He's caught between his fear of punishment and his conviction that what they did was right.
But Gerd doesn't have time for his indecision. She just straight up attacks him and demands he tell her the truth. She is not playing around. That felt like a hockey-infused smack.
It speaks to the urgency of the situation. She knows what Loki is capable of. This isn't about a child breaking some rules or damaging a building. This is about the potential unraveling of their entire society. She needed the truth, and she needed it immediately. She's a force of nature.
And that leads us down into the underworld. Luffy and Zoro have found him, Loki. The atmosphere shift is immediate. We go from the bright, raucous party to this dark, damp, sorrowful place.
He's unconscious, chained up, and looks like he's been through an absolute war. The animals around him are all beaten up too. The scene is just meticulously crafted to evoke immediate sympathy. Every detail, the heavy sea stone chains, the apparent unconsciousness, the loyal but wounded animal companions, screams victim.
Whatever happened, it looks real. This isn't just a guy who tripped and fell. And Luffy's reaction is instantaneous. He doesn't hesitate. He doesn't ask questions. He sees suffering and he has to help. It's the purest distillation of his character.
He goes to the chains, but they're sea stone, the one thing in the world that can truly neutralize him. It renders his greatest strength, his overwhelming will and power, completely moot. For a moment, he's just a regular guy who is powerless to help.
And this is where we get that core dynamic between the captain and his first mate. Enter the brakes on the Luffy train. Zoro steps in. He's like, hold on, let's not be hasty.
This is their fundamental relationship crystallized in a single scene. Luffy is the heart, the engine of the crew, acting on pure instinct and compassion. Zoro is the immune system, the protector, identifying potential threats to the body of the crew. He's never questioning Luffy's morality. He's questioning the reality of the situation.
Exactly. He's not being heartless. He's being cautious. He brings up the rumors. He's the one who was actually listening to the scuttlebutt around the island, while Luffy was probably trying to make friends with a beetle. He's protecting their new friends, the giants, from Luffy's boundless and sometimes reckless compassion.
So he devises a test, a very Zoro test. No clever wordplay, no intricate trap to expose a lie, just direct physical stimulus.
He just walks over and kicks Loki right in his wounds. It's so blunt, so disrespectful in a way, and so damn effective. He's not trying to be cruel, he's stress testing the story Loki's unconscious body is telling.
It's a pragmatic approach. If Loki is faking, he might flinch or react in a way that betrays the act. If it's an illusion, the kick might pass right through. But Loki screams in pain, a raw, authentic scream. For Zoro, that's enough to confirm they're not dealing with a simple trick. The pain, at least, is real.
But it's a flawed test, as we find out later. He tested the pain, but not the intent. He confirmed the what, but not the why. Still, it's enough for him, so he agrees to unlock him with a condition. They leave one shackle on his ankle. It's a brilliant compromise.
It is. It satisfies Luffy's immediate need to alleviate suffering while maintaining a crucial safety measure. It acknowledges the potential threat and neutralizes his devil fruit powers, should he have any. Zoro is thinking 2-3 steps ahead. He's playing defense even while on the offensive. Luffy, of course, wants to get Chopper immediately, but they both realize he's too far away. The only option is Gerd, and Luffy accepts the consequences without a second thought. If they get banished from Elbaph for helping this guy, so be it. That's just who he is. He can't leave someone suffering. It's the same instinct that made him punch a celestial dragon.
He even starts thinking about food for Loki. His hierarchy of needs is simple. Freedom from pain, then a full stomach.
And that little moment when Zoro points at the injured animals and suggests they eat them, Luffy's reaction is so pure. He shouts that they're his friends. It doesn't matter that he just met them 5 minutes ago. They're suffering alongside Loki, so they're part of the crew now. You don't eat your friends.
It's his defining characteristic, the ability to form bonds and declare them unbreakable, instantaneously. As Luffy runs off to get help, things escalate, dramatically.
The new giant warrior pirates crew just start falling out of the sky. Hadrian and the whole crew, plus Sanji, are just plummeting to their deaths. It's a sudden, chaotic intrusion into the scene.
Gerd clearly got the full story out of Road and sent the cavalry immediately. But here's another one of those incredible details. Their flying ship, the Svar, isn't working properly because of the underworld's different climate.
I love that so much. It's not magic, it's technology failing under specific environmental pressures. The air is too thin or the temperature is wrong. It grounds the fantasy. It makes the world feel real and consistent.
It adds a layer of realism to the fantasy. But of course, their potential doom lasts all of 2 seconds.
Because Luffy is there. He sees his friends falling and he just does what he does. Gomu Gomu no Fusen. He becomes a giant balloon and saves every single one of them. It's such a classic Straw Hat moment. It never gets old. An impossible situation resolved by Luffy's simple, absurd, and heroic powers.
They all crash land off of him, a chaotic pile of giants, and one very suave cook. But the reunion isn't joyful. Hadruddin is in a total panic. He's not there to fight Luffy, he's there to warn him. He's screaming, begging him not to free Loki.
And he gives us the context we were missing. He says Loki has been a liar his entire life, that he's cruel and manipulative and tricks people by playing the sympathy card. He's literally describing step by step the exact scenario that just unfolded with Luffy and Zoro.
It's the exact scenario Zoro was worried about, but now it's coming from someone who has known Loki since they were children. It's a first-hand account. This isn't just a rumor anymore. This is a character witness, and the testimony is damning.
The cross-cutting here is just brutal. We're shown Hadruddin's desperate screaming face, the words flying out of his mouth, a torrent of truth. But it's a race against time, and the words are losing.
Because the warning comes a fraction of a second too late. The focus shifts, and you see Zoro. He's just finished. The last of the chains is coming off Loki. You hear the final metallic clink as it hits the stone floor. That sound is the starting pistol for disaster.
And then it happens. The flip. Loki's eyes snap open. There's no grogginess, no confusion from being unconscious. It's just instant, sharp awareness.
He doesn't struggle. He doesn't look relieved. The performance is over, so all the signs of weakness are discarded.
He stands up. Despite all those injuries Zoro just confirmed were real, he gets to his feet as if they're nothing, grabs his weapon, Ragnir, and he smiles. This awful, menacing smile. It's the smile of a predator that just watched its prey willingly unlock the cage.
The act is over. Hadradin was right. Luffy's compassion was the key to his own lock. The pain he endured was real, but it was just a tool. He was willing to suffer that much to achieve his goal. That makes him even more terrifying. He has an iron will, but it is dedicated entirely to malevolent deception.
Super. What a cliffhanger. He played them. He played them all. All that pain, all that suffering, it was just a performance to get what he wanted, to be free. Bro, this changes everything. He didn't just fool Luffy, we were fooled right along with him. We were right there with Luffy, feeling sorry for this guy.
It certainly does. The damsel in distress was actually the dragon. The chapter's title, The Prince of Lies, wasn't just a label for the character, it was a warning to the reader.
The fallout from this is going to be immense. The trust is broken before it was even fully formed. How are the Giants supposed to trust the Straw Hats now? Their captain just unleashed their greatest threat.
This was an incredible chapter. So many moving parts clicking into place at once. If you think we're clicking into place with our analysis, a like is always appreciated. It helps other fans find their way to the dawn.
All right, let's get into it. Predictions for chapter 1142. Robin, you first.
My first prediction is that we will learn the truth of what happened in the castle from the animals. Luffy just declared them his friends. While he can't understand them, Chopper can. I believe Luffy will bring Chopper down there and he'll get the real story from the only witnesses who can't be manipulated by Loki's lies.
Oh, that's good. Using Chopper's unique ability to cut through the deception. I like that. Okay, my first one. Loki is not the ultimate villain of this arc. The person or people who beat him up are the real threat. Loki is going to use this opportunity to spin a new lie that he was fighting to defend Elbaph from this greater enemy, and that he needed to be freed to continue the fight. He'll try to position himself as a necessary evil.
A compelling narrative. It would certainly complicate things for the Giants. My second prediction is about the weapon, Ragnir. I don't think it's just a weapon. The name evokes Ragnarok. I believe it's either a cursed weapon that amplifies its wielder's negative traits, or it might even contain a separate malevolent will. Loki might not be fully in control, making him even more dangerous and unpredictable.
A sentient weapon, or a corrupting one. That's a classic. I'll go with a matchup for my second prediction. It's going to be Sanji versus Loki. Sanji is a prince, Loki is a prince. It's a perfect thematic parallel. And more importantly, Sanji's advanced observation haki, which is all about sensing emotions and intent, could be the perfect counter to a master of lies. He might be the only one who can see through the performance.
An interesting thought. My final prediction goes back to Prince Road. His block set isn't just a child's toy. He mentioned getting inspiration at the castle. I think he has been building a perfect miniature replica of the castle and maybe even the whole treasure tree. When the real fight begins, he'll use that model to show the Straw Hats a secret passage or a hidden structural weakness, turning his toy into the key to victory.
Yes, the kid becomes the strategist. I love that. Okay, my last prediction ties back to the beginning of the chapter. Franky just learned that the treasure tree Atom's weaknesses are fire and lightning. I predict that Loki's primary ability, or the ability of the person he's truly working for, will involve one of those two elements. The final battle won't just be about defeating a person, it'll be a race against time to stop Elbaph itself from burning down. The entire island will be the battlefield and the potential victim.